Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be an interview with one half of Long Hat House, João Brant. I think I got the name right there. I love the little
Yes,
Dandara
yes,
figure you
yes,
have behind
yes.
you.
Yeah, I'm just trying like the pillow so she's not like floating.
Right.
She can like step it up, and I'm thinking like that looks like a patch of salt. It's great.
Yeah, I love the painting. Looks really
Literally.
nice too, right next to her.
Yeah, yeah. Those are all gifts. Lucas, the other developer in the game,
Mm-hmm.
uh, his mom makes dolls like this, and she made us a couple, and that's mine, and that's also a gift, the painting. So it's
That's a
cool.
fun thing to have.
Yeah.
So, Dandara, you made it along with Lucas, and you partnered up with a couple of an artist and a
Yes, there's
composer.
an artist. Exactly.
Um, so that came out in 2018, and then you had the DLC came out. I want to say like February of last year or something like that.
I think March or February last year.
Right.
Either one of those.
So you and
February.
Lucas went to college together. At some point,
Yes.
you decided we should make games together. You experiment a little bit. You do some little game jam stuff, and then you make Magenta Arcade, and that's sort of your test run for
Yes.
mobile stuff. And then you move into Dandara. Um, I guess one of the first questions I want to ask is like, what was the timeline like for moving from like it being a mobile game to you partnering with Raw Fury and going to the Switch and then moving to other consoles and that kind of thing?
Exactly like that. We are doing. We were doing a mobile only game, and Dandara was a mobile only game. Like designing it for mobile, but when we signed it with Raw Fury, we signed it as a mobile exclusive game, isn't? And they were like they were taking a risk as well because it would be their first also mobile only game, and but like the Nintendo NX started like showing up rumors about it, right? And we were pretty sure that the Switch, it was called Nintendo NX at the time,
Oh,
that it would have a touch screen. So the Gordon from Ralph Fury like came to us. Why don't you try it? Because we can if they have a touch screen, then I would work for that. But people would still want to play on a controller, right? Some people would still insist on that. So let's try to make something like that. And nothing initially clicked for us.
hmm.
And we were very uneasy about it. It took a lot of iterations until we discovered that we could mirror the direction when you are on the ground. You know,
Right, yeah.
if you aim up to the ground, it automatically aims like this. So you can like go jump again, and then you
That
are
was a
aiming here already.
pretty smart move, I'd
And
say.
then
There's a lot of little smart design decisions I feel in that game.
yes, there are small tweaks and all like that. Even like just before launching Trials of Fear,
Hmm.
it's like a non-stop. You have to say like it's time to stop. You can always tweak
Yeah.
it.
So, let's see. What else do I have to ask here? Did you ever consider? I actually didn't even try this, but I'm
Oh yeah,
assuming
and
that.
about the
Oh yeah.
timeline. Then when we made the controller, then PlayStation, uh, the TV, the Xbox, everything was possible, right? PC.
Hmm.
So we also tried to make a Steam launch. We did make a Steam launch, like to all platforms at the same time, which was very hard to do because
Yeah,
we are the
the
only.
last interview I did, they talked about doing the big simultaneous launch on all platforms and how much of a headache that was.
Yes, Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that again because it was a lot of work, like, and the launch date was set, but it was good. I can't say that it wasn't, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the timeline for the platforms.
So I didn't try this.
So
I'm assuming that it is not the way that you programmed it, but had you considered at any point, given its touch origins, using the DualShock 4's touchpad for any kind of integration?
no, never,
No,
because the touchpad is just so small,
it is. Yeah.
and we need like two fingers at the same time.
Mm.
In the touchscreen, it's like a finger is for shooting, another one is for jumping, and it would be. I think it doesn't have support for two touches at the same time,
Yeah, I
and
don't even know. So few
even if you
games
did,
actually
it
use
would be
it.
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be awkward. It would be like, right?
Yeah. Um, so I know you had said in a couple prior interviews that the part that was most difficult about developing the game was the initial part where you were developing the village, because it was like sort of a microcosm of what the rest of the game would be. And I very much felt that while I was playing it. After I got out of the village and started playing a little more, I was like, oh, that was sort of a self-contained thing that is mirroring the rest of the game.
Exactly. And it does that not only on mechanics, I think, also narrative, uh, on art. It is a microcosm, and a lot of references, like the theme of the level also like let us do that, which is have a lot of Brazilian references, have a lot of reference from real life from what's around us. The level really did like made that possible, while the others were less more difficult to do that, I guess. And we iterated on that level like a million times.
Hmm.
Probably the art changed a million times, and yeah, it's like the most well done level. Like every kind of distance or jump is like done and redone way more times than, for example, the Golden Fortress.
Right. I really enjoyed that village level. I mean, all of pretty much all of the areas in the game I feel have like a very unique look to them, and they all look very nice. Props to your artist. But I guess
Yeah, he done a good job.
because that village in particular is so strongly Brazilian in its style. It was just a really interesting thing to see, for someone like me and a lot of people who are not terribly familiar with Brazilian culture.
Exactly. That's part of the intended experience, right? We know it wouldn't be like make only Brazilians are going to play this game. Quite the contrary, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
More foreigners would be playing the game. So we made it like we wanted to have an experience like Alice in Wonderland, where everything she sees like a new thing. You can start imagining. You start imagining like what's the next new thing is gonna be, like the next mysterious thing is gonna be, and using like another culture and reference, being really grounded in another culture in a oniric way is really good to do that.
Yeah.
So I hope it was experience, right?
So jumping back to the artist and the composer, how did you connect with those two? How did that come to be?
Well, first when we started making games, me and Lucas, we also wanted to start like a community of developers here in Belo Horizonte, and Victor started doing that. Victor is the pixel artist. He
Hmm.
started like making an event for other developers to come in, because we are in a big city, but there was some companies, some game companies, but not too much, not like indie, right? And this event, like everyone came of the cave and met each other. So we started doing like every month or every 2 months, I don't remember. And we started getting to know each other. And we discovered like Victor is also our neighbor. He lives around here.
Wow, that's crazy.
Uh, and there was a time like we were working from home way before
Hmm.
the pandemic. We were working like in the living room and still living with our parents. And we wanted to work elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And we started looking around for places. And Victor was had a place that we could work, but he couldn't pay for everything alone, right? So we joined together. We joined with another developers too, and made like a co-working kind of thing. And we started working together, not in the same project at first, but then we started like working together. We started collaborating a bit. Victor starting doing some things for Dandara, the main character. He did like he did before, like really working on a sealing a contract. For example, like as a gift, he was trying to do something like friendly thing, and that was nice. And afterwards, after Ralphir joined, we could like uh, hire him, pay a salary. Then he
Hmm.
started working on us. And the musician is even before the musician we know him because of the pixel artist too, and we started getting to be friends. He lives in São Paulo, it's another city. My family is from there, so when I visit my family from time to time, I go to visit Tomás too, and I started talking to him about the project. He wanted to join it, but it was really early on the project even.
Hmm. Gotcha. So, if I may get granular for a second, there was one thing that kind of, uh, I guess, confused me a little bit while I was playing the game. It's the fact that there's not really a true north when you're playing this game, because sometimes when you enter a new area or when you're like partway through an area, the world will turn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was that just to sort of like reinforce the fact that you don't have a true direction or something like that?
Yes. In the beginning of the narrative, we wanted to like direct a directionless world, do something like that in the narrative, and that kind of stayed. But it was a design kind of solution because the the cell phone is like rectangular, right? And it's
Yeah.
really more comfortable if you are on a rectangular level too. So when you go like on a vertical, yeah, if you're like going on a vertical kind of level, it's better if the screen does like this so you can see, and the game lets you do that. And people
I
would
see.
like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. Uh, kind of thing to happen, like the camera rotate. And we really like to challenge. That's something that we tried, like to challenge the player on where they are, based on reference points, memorization, repeating the level like sometimes because you would eventually die, right? And we wanted that, and wanted to do a bigger challenge than that, um,
Gotcha.
which is why the level rotates so much. It's cool, right? I believe I like it personally. Like,
It just
it
made
is
me.
a
There were a
change of
couple of
pace.
points where it would rotate like a couple of times rapidly. I got a little bit dizzy, but
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
for the most part, that wasn't a problem.
I agree that it can be very dizzying.
So I guess I'll start asking about the DLC stuff at this point. Um, I have to say the DLC is like incredibly well integrated into the game, because until I did some sleuthing later online to figure out like what exactly is in the original game, what is different, I didn't know. Like, because you
That's
you
cool.
have that
That's
you
cool.
have that boss fight. And he says you can go into the hidden realms now, and I'm just like, okay, that's just part of the game. But lo and behold, it wasn't.
That's it. We wanted to make an edition of Dandara that people wouldn't like just grow the game, not necessarily like have a separation. I guess it has, right? Because the Hidden Realms is another map. You can like flip the map. It has
Right.
a bit of a separation, but we didn't. We wanted like the narrative to not say like this is a DLC or something like that. We wanted to uh, tell the story like say that there is more to the story, without needing to change the mode to go through another option in the menu or something like that.
Yeah, it's just really well integrated. Like I said, I mean, I'm still not even sure after doing all that research online, 100% everything that was in the game prior versus now. Like, for example, the boss battle that allows you to go into the hidden realms. I don't need. Was that in the game originally?
What that was in the original game,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
But the character that appears later, the heart character, didn't. It
Oh,
was a totally
okay.
different room when you beat the boss.
Gotcha. So, was it difficult to balance some of the new abilities that you brought into the game? I know in my case, I was able to use one of the abilities. I guess I'll say spoilers in case you don't want to know and you're watching this video. The ability that lets you teleport, essentially, where you shoot a beam and then you can
Mm-hmm.
land it somewhere. I use that to get back across the bridge to the first area instead of taking sort of the intended route. But was it difficult to balance the new abilities? I think I even missed one.
Um, I don't think so because we made it like there was in the original game everything after the bridge was kind of we felt it was too linear and like there was instead of the all the exploration in the village like opens up a couple it felt like a good like exploring thing, right? Like you have a lot of options at one time. You get discover that actually is one option only. There's a good flow, and I think that after the bridge was kind of more on the linear side,
Hmm.
and we tried to change that, like more towards the end of the game. So that solved a lot of problems for us because if you sequence break on the end of the game, it's probably more better to like than to sequence break on the beginning, right?
Right. Yeah.
So when you get the teleport, you can go back to the bridge already. So we didn't worry about that too much. You
I
you
had I
could
hadn't
like
gotten
use
that
other
far
powers.
in the regular path at that point, but
Yeah,
yeah, I guess the sort of overworld is more linear after the bridge, which may be why I think I'm more of a linear person. I
yeah,
appreciated that more.
yeah, and the for example, the hidden helms creates all those kinds of paths around the world that are different and you can choose between them, which adds to the non-linearity to the thing and solves a problem of backtracking even. We had a problem like, you need to backtrack and people like when they need to backtrack, they don't want to, they feel like they are not doing like the right thing
Yeah.
and by adding another path instead of backtracking, like people are not confused about that anymore. So that solves a lot of problems too. Some dead ends even. There were some dead ends that were really frustrating on the original game that we solved by putting another door to the hidden realms there.
Oh. Oh yeah, that is pretty handy, isn't it? So I
Yeah.
think I heard in another interview that you and this is sort of a logical jump, but the DLC update, whatever you want to call it, was at least partially comprised of sort of cut content, stuff that you wanted to have in the original game that for like time or money reasons just didn't make it in. Is that right?
Not really. Like
No.
some of it, yes. Some of it, like the beginning. How do we begin to build this? We build on onto the like the cut content. Yes, there is cut content on the narrative, but a lot of the hidden realms is actually based on the reaction to the original game. Like in the very when we finished the game, we started working on the hard modes and the easy modes. You know, the modifications you can do, the sheets, and after you beat the game once, if you start another file, there will be like PCs that you can increase the difficulty of the game.
I did notice that, and whenever I started a new game and I saw that, I was like, "Who wants this game to be harder?"
I do because like for testing the game, it made it hard for me.
Gotcha.
That's an example. Yeah, but where I was going? Wait, kind of forgot. Oh yeah, because like after we started working on that, 6 months had passed. We saw a lot of reviews, uh, saw a lot of streamers playing the game, and a lot of the the DLC is actually answering to that. For example, people was thinking like the game was too linear. For example, the story wasn't too fleshed out. Like there was a comment like this is too much show don't tell. I want them to tell more. You know? Yeah. So like yeah, let's flesh out the story. Let's for example, there was this complaint that the game ended abruptly, and we wanted to make a secret boss. That's a cut content actually. We wanted to make a secret boss after, but had to cut it, and that made the game kind of end up after Elder, kind of like out of nowhere, a little bit. So having another ending, like I think people are satisfied that the game, like it's funneling to the end and then ends. It wasn't that like that so much in the beginning. A lot of things. Even the narrative, like people trying to compare to Dark Souls, to Metroidvanias, right? There's a little bit of that in the DLC.
Yeah.
Because of the masters and all that.
So what was the ambition in terms of the difficulty of the DLC? This was kind of my biggest criticism, as you probably remember, was that sometimes in the DLC, things get really hard, we might say.
Yes, we threw a lot of enemies, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. In the beginning was like we wanted to challenge like more challenging battles in the game a little bit, because it felt like the game wasn't never doing that, like closing you in a arena and then like challenging, and it felt like people really liked that because they like the bosses, right? And the bosses is the only place that it happens. And I'm really happy about the battles that are really hard, the warden, the masquerade battles. I'm actually happy about them. But I don't know about Tormenta. Maybe I did that too hard. Maybe we did that.
Maybe I'm just bad at these kind of games. I haven't exactly played a lot of them, so who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm. We believe me, we did like after testing, we did some play tests, and we like stop hitting the gas so much on the difficulty a lot. Like we took a break from it a lot. It was way harder. I think in the Masquerade mini boss, there was every type of enemy at some point.
Oof.
Every type of enemy you could find on Dandara showed
Oh
up on
no.
there. Even
That
the guys
is.
with the that goes through walls and they have lasers. Even those guys appeared at the same time.
I don't
So
think I would have finished the game at that rate.
yes, we took a break from that. No, this is actually too hard.
Yeah, that the very last boss, the secret boss, that was
Mm-hmm.
just incredibly like I turned cheats on, and I still barely got through that one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. I think that maybe we were too much on that.
But in that
Maybe.
case, I could tell that the previous boss was like the original final boss, and then this was just like super extra. If you really want to do it, you can take this guy on. So like it was
Yes.
kind of understandable.
Yes, it is like what's the design thing behind the torment is like a long boss, a hard boss that you try a lot of times because elder no boss like satisfied that. I was playing, for example, Neo or Dark Souls, and no boss like satisfied that one that you really try a lot of times, and then finally succeed. I never felt like that, and
Wow.
try
So
to
you're
make
saying you're
Tormenta like
really good
that.
at Dark Souls?
No. Quite the contrary. Like every boss on Dark Souls, I'm like 3 days trying,
Hmm.
4 days trying, and then finally I get it. No boss on Dandara was like that, and I wanted
Oh,
something
okay. I
like
see
that
what you're
for the
saying.
last
Gotcha.
one. Yeah, I wanted something like that for the last one, and I did try. Yeah, that's the intention, I guess. And if there's a lot of RNG too in it, and
Hmm.
it's because it's a long boss. It's designed to be a long fight that you like. I almost got it, and that's why there's so much RNG because if you're gonna repeat it so much times, at least it had to be different, right? There's even
Yeah.
Easter eggs that happens during
Yeah.
the
I think I noticed something that you're talking about, which was the counselors, I guess you want to call them, of the trials of
yeah.
fear. They sort of rate your performance. And for a second, I thought, oh, maybe if I fuck up and die enough times, they'll like throw me a bone or something. But that did not happen.
That doesn't happen. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So overall, you feel like you feel pretty like proud of what you've done with the game.
Of course, all of us. Dandara is like our second game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. It totally changed our lives uh, in a major way. Like we went to GDC. Never, we didn't think we would be going to GDC at this like early. I guess I don't know. We traveled because of this game. That's what I mean. Man, it was supposed to be a mobile exclusive game. Like I wasn't expecting a mobile exclusive game to be so big as it was in the end, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
So I'm
it's a
really,
deserving title. I think it's a good game.
yeah, I'm really proud of it. I'm really grateful for everyone that worked on it. That's good, and I feel like we can do better. That's something that's good too. Like we can make a better game now. We learn a lot of stuff, at least technically, right?
Right.
Uh,
So,
making a
what are you playing anything right now? Is anything exciting you?
what I'm playing right now. It's Pac-Man Championship 2. I liking it. Yeah, I bought it because maybe Pac-Man's cool, and I like it. It's a good game.
I
But yeah,
remember when Championship Edition DX, which I guess is the game before that one, uh,
yes,
that was really crazy. It's crazy what you can do with an old format such as Pac-Man.
yeah. And I'm surprised. I really like that game, the first one. I'm surprised they changed a lot of things in the
Hmm.
second. They
I
changed
haven't really
almost
seen it.
everything. Yeah, it's like they concluded like the first game is no, it's just so horrible. Change everything. I don't know why. And then it's a different experience, but it's the same kind of pumping thing. I don't know how to say, like same kind of frenetic flow that you get. But it's
Gotcha.
the rules are different. It's weird.
Did you ever
But
check
I
out
really
Tetris Effect? They sort of do a similar thing with an old game.
yes, I did. I love that game.
So excellent.
Yes.
So, are there any projects in the works that you can talk about?
Well, there are, but I can't talk about because they look too ugly. People are gonna be disappointed. Like this
Oh,
is it.
too early
So
on?
we have to wait. We are working on something. Uh, we are like crazy about announcing something, but we have to wait a bit until like it's good to
Yeah.
announce it
It's probably
at
tough these
least.
days too, because you can't even physically see your coworkers in person.
Yeah, it has been terrible. Like to start something creative. We were talking about this today, right? We're starting this creative thing now, and the only way that we can like I have a problem, like a design problem, a programming problem, art problem, whatever, and you cannot like bounce it off the ideas with other people. Mostly, what we do is like show something like ready. I don't want to talk about design. I don't really know. I'm just gonna show it ready. So all those questions went through your mind alone, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you took a direction. Maybe in a group would be better to take another. And we are doing this all the time while developing it. So being creative is really different. I really prefer to be like face to face to someone making prototypes. That's something that we are doing, making prototypes, and it's very good when you are making a 3D prototype. It looks terrible, but you're like, what if it would be like this? And you put the characters and arrange them really fast, and someone looks like, no, the camera should be, that kind of bouncing off, and we can't even do that. So things are slower, things are like less quality. I don't know.
It's a tough time. I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully,
it's a tough
hopefully
time.
things improve. Down in Brazil soon to the point where you guys can get together and get those creative juices flowing.
Exactly. Sorry for the little rant,
Oh no, that's
but
fine.
it's good. It has been like a blessing to be able to work from home, right? So there's
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so I think that runs through all of the questions that I had. Was there something that I didn't talk about? I asked or talk about that you were hoping that I would?
No, actually, I'm surprised you didn't ask about the like what's the meaning of the game, which I would say like I can't talk about it because it ruins the game. So I'm
I
glad.
knew you would say that, so I didn't ask.
Nice.
Okay, so I guess I'll just say thanks to you guys watching. Definitely check out Dandara. It's a great game, and it's on like every conceivable platform. It's technically on next gen consoles because they're backward compatible.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Xbox.
also want to say like thank you guys for watching, and if you want to know more about our next projects, just follow us on Twitter or Facebook or any other social media. But Twitter is the one that we always are like most focused on. Yes.
Yes,
So there's
definitely.
that.
Long Hat House on Twitter, and they're again Xbox, PS4, Steam on PC, iOS, Android, wherever you want to play it, you can play it. So go check it out. Thanks to you, João,
Whatever
for
you want. Yes.
doing this interview with me and taking time out of your day. It was a great pleasure. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, Joe, for like inviting. Thank you, guys.